everyone, welcome back to Pitch Please.
Oh my God.
Podcast where people who play games
Christ.
pitch ideas to people who make them. How's it going? I'm really excited.
No, that's too much. That's too much.
I've just drank tea too quickly.
Yeah, we have said before that you need to have some energy, some gusto, some spunk up in your system. But that was nuts.
Overdo it that time.
You were overspunked that time.
Next time I'll have the perfect balance.
Please do.
This time I'm sorry.
I'd like to clarify that I had my ears done, so I can hear really well right now. That was a lot.
Not
I
anymore.
bought some new headphones, and I heard everything. I can still hear it. It's rattling around my brain
right now. Like that's how good my hearing is.
I can smell sound, and that smelled awful. I'm joined. I'm Tom, by the way. Hi. I'm joined by Chris.
Hello. I'm everyone's least favorite guest person on this podcast as of last week.
Okay. Nice. We'll get into that.
Let's just say I was tired. I had no sleep. I just didn't get it. This week I'm hydrated. I'm well rested. And if I hate it, I can now at least understand why I hate it.
Okay. So, I mean, what you're saying is you re-listened to the episode and you're on my side, right?
No, it's just that.
Oh, okay.
People literally added me on Twitter to have a go at me, and I was just like, I don't remember what I even said.
Wow. Oh, come on, guys! Don't
be mean. He can't help
harassing
being
people. What you want to do?
Hey! No, it wasn't harassment. Let's be honest. Up the old follow account straight away. So
Okay.
So this episode, you're going to be worse. Is that what you're saying?
No. What I am going to say is follow at Nice and Crispy on Twitter.
Follow people not to
takes.
send your hate. Follow people to send your love. If you have a support,
it wasn't hate.
If you want to support people in the podcast, then instead follow me and tell me what my idea was incredible.
That's a good positive message.
My favorite comment on the YouTube video was at the start. It was really loving this episode, and then an hour later, once they'd listened to it, they replied to themselves with "except Chris," and I was like, "That's brilliant. I love it."
James, whose side are you on?
Oh, I couldn't.
He's impartial.
I'm on your side, Alex.
He's on my side. Okay. This week, however, it's a fresh idea. It's not a guest idea. It's not even an idea from you, Tom. It's an idea from me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Hope you like mushrooms.
Strap in for a short ride. We're going to get into the car, belt ourselves in, and then I'm going to go 100 miles an hour for 1 meter. And then you're going to get out and push me the rest of the way. Yeah.
Wait, the car instantly goes to 100 miles per hour and then instantly after 1 meter goes to 0.
And then it breaks down.
Asking for whiplash.
We are very dead.
A little setup, which is usual for me, right? I'm sorry. I need to set this up a little bit. Okay.
Clean up the room a little bit. Get everything in the right position before you intro us in.
There was a guy called Ed Gein. Do you remember him?
Yes.
His name?
Big fan.
Good friend of mine.
Yeah, big fan of.
Always down the pub with him.
So Ed Gein, one of the most notorious serial killers. I guess he was a serial killer.
I didn't like him. I wasn't a big fan.
Now I know who he is.
No, I hated the guy.
We did not go to the pub.
In the United States in the last century. Very good friends of both Thomas Hazel and Chris Yules.
Yeah, I love the guy.
Famously.
I'm still going to stand by him.
And he was one of the most he was one of the strangest serial killers. Like he was a guy. He lived, I think, like in a cabin. Like I don't know, it was like the Appalachians or something. It was out in the sticks, and basically he would kill people, skin them, and I think he did something really weird. Like, but basically when the cops came in, they found his house. They found a load of weird shit in his house. Like he had like reconstructed his mother from the skin of other people or something. He made a belt. There's a belt made of nipples. Just loads of weird shit. Yeah, nipple belt.
He showed that to me.
He gifted that to you, Chris, didn't he? I think on his passing.
What, you got his nipple belt? Sorry. Oh man, all I got was his mum.
It was a weird time in Wetherspoons.
There's that side of serial killers. It's like the really weird, fucked up, like not that serial killing's not fucked up anyway, but you get the standard serial killers who are just doing it, and there's nothing. They don't have a twist, right? And then you've got the really weird ones.
Yeah, you get the boring ones. Ugh.
So on the one side there's that, and then there's the other side. There's a guy, and I can't remember his name, but do you remember? Did you ever hear about the murder hotel? Did you hear about this guy?
Yes, yeah.
So there was a guy, again another American guy, who I can't remember his name, but basically he had a hotel, and apparently they were he'd built in trapdoors and weird things that say that he could sneak into rooms and like take people away in the night. I don't even know if this is true. I just read it on the internet. It might not be.
Well, it has to be true.
Well,
You read it on the
I-
internet.
Yeah. I feel like I read it as one of those, this is a true story, but it could be like a fictional like tale. I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah.
But the
like
last
he had
thing I heard
secret
was that-
trapdoors and stuff that you could sneak around.
exactly.
It was really fucking weird. And you just watched people as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the last thing I heard was that I think Leonardo DiCaprio was involved in like making a film about it where he would play that guy.
I think he was involved.
Right?
Oh my God.
He was involved. He was one
He
of the
was involved. He was
stayed
heavily
there.
involved.
So my idea was, and admittedly, as per usual, I haven't gotten that far with it. But what if you were this guy, right? So
Okay.
it's a management game. Okay, you own a hotel. Maybe you just have a house. You start off with a house like Psycho style. You've got a bed and breakfast, which is one room or something, and you have to do all the usual management shit. You're not like a god. I'm not seeing it as like a top down like theme hospital or whatever where you're clicking around. You have to wander around. It's third person or whatever. You're wandering around. Hold on, Chris. Let me get this out. Let me. So you're wandering around doing, I don't know, whatever you do as a manager of a hotel. Okay. All this normal stuff like cleaning the dishes, making people food, like booking admins, like answering the phone, whatever. But also you really need to kill people because that's just your secret lust. Okay. You have to do it.
Yeah, sure.
And there's that constant problem of you need to keep the hotel open because you're still a guy who's running a business. You need to eat, right? You need, maybe you need to eat the people staying there. But either way, you need money to keep the hotel open, right? But also you need to kill the people coming there because that's just what you do because you're a serial killer. And I was thinking, how about as well as constructing these rooms, you construct trapdoors, you put in secret cameras to be able to follow people. Like you have your normal day job in the day, but then at night, that's when you wake up and start fucking murdering people. And you have to do it without anyone finding out. Chris.
So in my head, it's like shopkeep meets dungeon keeper meets hello neighbor kind of thing.
Okay.
But also,
it's a lot of games.
I'm very worried about you, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not. I'm not saying that it's done in a really horrific, graphic way. Maybe some. I feel like there's somewhere that this game could lie that is quite funny. Like it's not done in a really horrible way. It's James,
a bit like
Jovial
What We Do
serial
in the Shadows kind of like comedy kind of thing. You're a bumbling
that's
Basil Fawlty
more the kind of thing that
vampire.
I'm. Basil Fawlty as a sadistic, perverted serial killer, right?
I mean, yeah. But that's where I got the shopkeep when you said that it's not management. I feel like the construction should be dungeon keeper style view, and then you go back in and it either takes time to build or you have to earn. Maybe you can sell like the nipple belt on like some sort of serial killer Etsy store.
The dark web.
The dark web Etsy.
I think you'd have a trophy room in the hotel. You got to stop people from going in there. But you have to have a trophy room.
Yes, a trophy room.
Or maybe like a basement
all
that is just
good serial
filled
killers.
with. You've got like a whole stock of nipple belts and reconstructed mothers.
Well,
you've
got the murder room, I guess, and then you've got. But maybe you could have murder rooms for different purposes, right? Like in Dungeon Keeper, they have different rooms for different like elements of torture and stuff, right?
So it's a little bit Sweeney Todd as well, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because he's a respected. What does he do? Cut people's hair?
Barber.
No, he's
Famously a barber.
The barber.
Famously
the demon barber,
yeah.
right?
But then
I guess it's that.
they made pies, right? So what if you could then, I'm spending a lot of money on food upkeep per month. Maybe I'll shove a couple of bodies in the old kitchen, and then we use that.
Feed them to
that bill.
That's another.
Because how do you
that's another thing
do you have
that
to
does happen with
dispose of the
serial
bodies?
killers.
Do you have to
I
cover
don't
up the
know.
evidence?
So, this is where I need your help because I think what I find really interesting for the gameplay is that I really want that idea of like, oh shit, I need to do these kind of general management jobs that's constantly balancing the needs of my customers and the people staying there with my need to kill them, basically. And I think there could be some interesting gameplay going on there. James?
So presumably you'd have more than one guest at a time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
so
you'd start off small. I'm imagining to begin with, you have
like
a couple,
a B&B?
and it's one room.
Right, yeah.
But you can expand. You could
But obviously
expand
you
the property.
can't kill them because you need a good TripAdvisor review, right? So you got to let a few go, get 5 stars.
Well,
more people
exactly,
come
right?
to the hotel. So you got to pick who you want to take out.
You can't kill everyone that comes to the hotel. No way, because you would just never, like, no one would ever stay there. You would get caught out. You would get caught immediately.
So you have to have like a conversation with them. Say, "Oh, what are you doing? I'm in town. I'm a traveling salesman." It's like, perfect. No one's going to miss you.
Maybe
you have to, figure out their.
Well, I was thinking,
covering it up.
Instead of you actively picking a target, what if when someone books a room, they're randomly assigned, oh, this person is your target. And you've got like 10 different ways of which, or maybe even just one way where you're like, this person's just walked in, I want to kill them this way. And that then forces you to have to think very carefully about how you navigate this person through the hotel to fulfill your weird dark path of how you want to deal with this one person.
Yeah,
maybe that could be a thing.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
I disagree with one thing with that, Tom, which is that I don't think she should be assigned a target. I think it should be a bloodlust where you're like, okay, I have to kill now, right? Yeah. And whoever comes in next, that's it, and I have to figure out how I'm going to resolve that issue. So it's more of an on the spot thinking of like, hey, they're in that room, or the room I use for killing normally isn't free, but I want to kill this person.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
How do I solve that? But it should be like the next target. I think it should be like a in 3 hours time I want to kill.
Yeah, sorry, go on, James.
I was almost backtracking on my first things. Like maybe it should be more casual. Maybe there's enough going on that it almost doesn't matter.
Hi, I want a casual serial killer game, please.
I mean, management games, obviously you can go quite in depth with it, but is it more like this bloodlust thing? It almost doesn't matter who they are. Who cares, right? Well, it's just a person.
I don't know. Like, this is the thing that I was thinking about. Man,
it's just a human being with
someone's son, someone's daughter, but that's okay.
Is that the name of the game? Someo's daughter.
Someone's daughter.
I'm waiting for our celebrity endorsement. Charles Manson's Hotel Management.
So it would have to be like Ed Gein or something, right? Because Charles Manson never actually killed anyone.
Hotel Management.
For fuck's sake. Okay, so what I was thinking is that the reason I was talking specifically about someone like Ed Gein and not just like your run of the mill serial killer is because they have like really fucking weird like penchants, that are kind of inexplicable, and I think that could be quite an interesting way for your guide to play, to approach everyday life and to approach it. So, for example, if you like, maybe you are not just any random serial killer. Maybe there's like a pool of certain serial killers, or maybe there are certain buffs or certain like traits that you have. And say if you start off with a serial killer, like you will only kill red-headed men of a certain height. Okay. And so if one of them walks in, you're like, fuck, I need to put them in. I need to make sure they go in the trapdoor room, or I need to, that's your target.
Real quick, let's unproblematic this game.
Okay.
I think let's dip away from serial killer and go maybe towards vampire hotel, where
all right, vampires. Okay, all right, vampires. Okay,
Tom,
I can do.
I think we gotta move away from it.
Harold Shipman's Hotel Nightmares is
yeah, but now we can call it Bed and Neckfast.
I like it.
Okay.
You know what, Tom?
All right,
Tom. Perfect.
There you go. Bed and neck first.
So, but you can still have, like, I think you still need to have some kind of way of being like, okay, there are certain targets that vampires. I mean, you can just kill anyone, if you're just going to drink anyone's blood.
No. Vampires are very particular about their blood. If you were a vampire, you wouldn't just go feasting on every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Would you?
Yeah.
Would you?
So, well, I don't know.
Their blood's different. Every blood is different.
We on this podcast love meters, right? So we've got a bloodlust meter. And
Okay.
what about
Thank you.
bloodlustometer? What if each customer or hotel visitor had a satisfaction meter, and their blood will be better?
Fuck me! Every single game.
If their satisfaction is at top, if you serve them nice food, if their room is tidy, if they get their wake up call on time, they're like satisfaction top. I'll kill them now.
Oh, so you have better blood. You only drink happy blood.
Yes.
I think
or satisfied customer blood.
There will be certain
you don't like stress
blood.
You don't like stress blood. No.
Well, no, I don't know, because isn't that supposed to be better? Like, when they when you get when they kill animals, they do it when they have high adrenaline because the meat tastes better. That's what chasing an animal.
Oh my god!
Same with fish. When you kill a fish, if you kill it a certain way, you stop stress, which taints the meat. That's why sushi grade fish is killed differently.
Yeah, so if you were a vampire, then you would want certain quality of blood, which would be determined by, I don't know, maybe it's like affluence of the person or something. Like if they're rich, they have a better diet or something. I don't know. And like maybe like vegan blood would be shit blood or something because they don't have the right diet that you want. You need like a meaty blood or something.
Vegan blood is brown and gooey.
It's brown. It's just green. Chris.
Now, I had an idea and then I immediately regret having the idea. But then it was too good not to share. It was aimed this at kids, and
for God's sake,
it was Sesame Street characters, and the hotel was owned by the Count.
Right.
That was it. I was trying to think of a fun vampire, and then it was just
right.
I feel like there's a good celebrity endorsement already there, The
Count.
So Sesame Street.
So when you say aimed at kids, just hang on, run me through this. So you are playing the Count. Big Bird walks in. The Count says,
Your room is 3.
Next.
And then you're like, okay, thanks. Go to room 3.
But previous to Big Bird walking in, you've built a death trap for Big Bird to walk into, so you can suck his blood.
Vampires don't necessarily kill their victims, right? They drain them, and sometimes
they capture them.
Well, not always, Tom. Because sometimes you just drain someone and then they're not fully drained, right?
Right.
Maybe this isn't for kids. Maybe
that's the thing. I wanted to ask, what is it about the Count draining Big Bird within the edges of its life that makes you think this is a kid's game?
I mean, immediately we're all laughing. I mean, as a visual, that's brilliant.
Good point.
It's a
Sesame Street game for adults.
That's a game mode.
Okay, so
you can enter the cheat code that turns them all into Muppets characters.
If you were a vampire, how would it work in terms of like transposing the serial killer stuff on? Like you have your targets, right? The targets are different depending on what your needs are. How is this going to work? And like like even the basic stuff. Let's start from the beginning. Like, what are you doing? How is the game going to play in terms of just your everyday management of a bed and breakfast or a hotel? Like, what do you have to worry about? What should we actually put in the game? Because it's going to get too boring if we just make it really detailed.
Staff costs.
I guess you could, at a very, very base level, just say you've got 6 rooms of different quality or different theme, and when someone comes to the counter, they say, "Oh, I want rich room number 1." You're like, "Oh, rich room's not available. You're going to have to deal with slightly less rich room." And they're like, "Oh, okay, fine." And then you could just assign people to their one of 6 rooms or one of 12 rooms or
penthouse.
Whatever. Yeah. And then, I don't know, potentially, dinner time's coming up. Make sure you got the right food for the staff. Not for the staff, for the customers. And it could be
you'd also
quite
have to hire
basic in that.
You'd have to, and then a cheap cook would cook shit meals, and then a better cook would cost more, but you'd cook better meals. Same with cleaners. So you'd have to hire. I imagine it kind of how the staff works in like Theme Hospital or 2 Point Hospital, where they have characteristics where it's like, oh well, she is good cleaner, but she's slow. So you're like, okay, well, the room gets cleaned to a higher quality, which makes the person staying in it more happy. but that room is unavailable for longer because she's slow.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, this is
I shouldn't just say she because it's a cleaner. That's not a bias that I stand by.
Nice.
Thanks.
So you were saying this is a third person. You are just playing a character in a hotel who also runs it, right?
Yeah, you're one. I mean, in my head, it's almost like it's like a Wes Anderson style cut out like a dollhouse, really. And it's a hotel. You're moving between rooms. You're going up the stairs. Yeah, but you're not clicking things. You're directly moving this character. And that was because initially I thought it could be kind of like there could be quite a fun element of in the middle of the night, like you having to actually sneak into someone's room and then steal them away back into the into the trapdoor. But I don't know. It could be something else. James, what do you think?
I'm thinking in terms of the location. We talked about like, it starts as a B&B and then maybe it becomes something else. Maybe it is just one location, a really dilapidated, massive mansion,
a Transylvanian mansion.
Yeah, Transylvanian mansion. But you've only got one room clear, and everything else is there's dust sheets everywhere.
Right,
it's all boarded up. They're like, oh, sorry, we're doing some work. But as you make more money, as you get more satisfied customers, you start to unlock additional rooms that you can then
like the base in XCOM.
Funny
that
have
to pay to clean out the rooms, and maybe there's some sort of avatar you should have to pay to clean out the rooms.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you hire people to come and do the work.
No, you don't hire people. I've figured it out. A food critic comes into the hotel, and you're like, he would make a great chef. So you turn him into a thrall. And so all of your staff...
He's a food critic.
Well, whatever, but he's got
the food.
Whatever, or something like that. So you don't have staff, you enthrall customers into...
that works into the
staff.
Trap idea then as well. You've still got to trap them and keep them for long enough to hypnotize them and convert them.
That does take away...
Hypnotize... James,
isn't that
explain vampires to me.
No, I'm pretty sure vampires have.
You're thinking of Sarah Brown.
Vampires can hypnotize.
They can hypnotize, sure, but you mean they can also turn people into vampires? Why would they just?
Oh, is that what a thrall is?
Wait,
isn't it where you
hang on? There is also.
Tom.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you've got familiars, right?
Do you want to explain vampires?
You've got familiars.
That was my impression of you.
There's human thralls, and then there's also your master as well. If you're a vampire, you have a master. The person that turned you is your master, and you have to serve them.
So is there a thrall limit? Because if you're just hiring people, obviously the limit is then how much money you have, and you have to balance that stuff out. But what's stopping you just enthralling everyone that comes to your hotel after you've drunk them?
You need visitors to come to charge up your thrall power. You need a certain amount of blood. Thrallometer. So people come, you get more thrall points that you can then go and turn more people.
I do like that, but I also like that. Like what I really liked about having just standard like normie people that you would hire is I call them normies, humans. Unlike us vampires. That there would then be that like additional element of trying to still do your vampire stuff and not be caught by them, because like you need to have more people in to help you manage this rapidly expanding hotel. But the more people you have, the higher risk there is of you getting caught. And if you get caught, I don't know, that's the end of the game. Or you have to move
if they find a trap, you've then got to take them out, eat them, drain their blood before they report you. And then you've got a high turnover of staff. You've got to weigh up the quality of staff versus how dumb they are or how I don't know, lack of awareness they have.
Maybe there's some kind of like cost benefit of like enthralling someone, like versus just having them as a standard employee. Like maybe they're not as good as their job as they would be, but they won't tell on you. Like they know.
If all your staff are pale skinned and they've got bite marks, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
It probably is uniforms turtleneck based.
Yeah. And then no one comes to the hotel because no one likes turtlenecks in this universe.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is like other potential outside threats is, say if there's if you've been drinking a lot of blood recently, and you've not been very careful, then word might get around. People are going missing in this place or something weird. You might have the police arrive to investigate, or you might even just have a policeman stay there overnight. Or Chris, you might get vampire hunters come in. How do you deal with these threats?
A vampire hunter could stay at your hotel. You'd be like, oh shit, I can't kill anyone.
And they have no idea.
But that's where the traps come in, right? So I feel like a big part of it is going to be the picture frame with the eye holes cut out. So you go around and spy on each of the rooms. And if you see, it's going to be like a detective element to the game where you'll be like, okay, I can see their bag. Oh, I can see is that a stake? Or you can see the tip of a sword or something. You're like,
so is that first person?
I imagined it first person.
Because I imagined the management and top down and building as an isometric, or Fallout Shelter style.
Well, 2 Point Hospital.
And then you went first person for whatever, the shopkeep experience.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of seeing it like Fallout Shelter style, but you're directly controlling the character. And say if when you're walking, say if you want to see into this room through the eye holes, when you wander around the hotel, you're wandering at night. You're wandering around in the walls, and so. You access a painting, and then that provides visibility into the room that's in front of you. You see what I mean?
But I think the 2D cutout, the side-on perspective limits what you can present to the player as hidden
that's
walls.
True.
And I think being able to explore them and there's a statue head. If you push on that, a wall goes and opens up, which you could do 2D, but it's just harder to present that to the player.
With the 3D, with the first person versus isometric, I guess you could still have isometric and conceal the room. You just have a fog of war or a roof over it, a ceiling, and then you go up to the painting and then you reveal what's inside. I think that's the only thing that I was thinking first person for, was to have that reveal of I'll go and look through. So
I kind of
can do it. I think that you can do it either way, really. I don't. First person just kind of feels a bit more fun, like you're creeping around the crawl space of the hotel.
How are you seeing it? Is this first person for you, or is this isometric?
It's weird because we haven't really done any of the trap stuff yet, or the trap construction or anything like that. But I imagined to begin with, when you were saying you're building a hotel, I was imagining 2 Point Hospital, theme hospital, that sort of thing. Okay, but also I agree. If you are a character running a hotel, maybe the simulation stuff, the construction stuff, the staff management stuff, maybe that does take a little bit of a back burner, I suppose, because stalking particular prey in third person, first person, whatever, would be really cool. However, a lot of ask for a game to be, we've got 400 different customers that can come into this place and they all have different abilities and different things attributed to them. This one's got a stake. Has he? Maybe. Can you see it? Did you see it?
Yeah.
He's putting garlic up. Watch out. I think it's a weird mix of is it a first person game or is it a theme hospital style game where you just build a haunted trap house hotel?
I think that the theme hospital style game has a lot more scope in terms of, or maybe less scope, I guess. It could be more focused. But I really do like the element of, maybe you're not having to control this character directly, maybe not, I don't know, but I really like the idea of that moment of draining someone's blood isn't just clicking on them when no one else is in the room. There is an element of, I don't know, maybe it's an XCOM percentage chance or something, I don't know, but I feel it should be more than that. It should be that there should be an element of risk involved that's if they wake up now, they're going to scream, or fuck, I've accidentally killed them, and now I have to do something with the body. But I have a thrall, so it's okay. They can take it away for me or something. I don't know. But some element of that's involved that isn't just, they're in their room at night on their own. I'm just going to left click on them and my blood meter's gone back up again.
What if this kind of does rapidly change it quite a bit, but what if it was this isometric theme hospital builder where, you've got this hotel, you place the traps, you place the rooms, you place the reception desk, the kitchen, the diner, whatever. Your vampire character is this AI that just walks around the hotel managing things. If you build a room that is able to, I don't know, the bed flips and it puts them into the basement in this tank, then your vampire AI is like, perfect, I've got some food for tonight. He goes down, sucks the blood, his bloodometer goes back up, and it's like, cool, I've satisfied this AI vampire that is controlling the hotel. And you're kind of just appeasing this one person that's just walking around tending to the hotel. And if you don't capture this human, or if you don't bleed this other guy so there isn't a tank full of blood in this one, or you don't, I don't know, capture this very particular person they have a liking for or something. I know I'm saying capture a lot because I can't think of any other vampire-y things that you could do with the people in terms of building traps in the rooms, but...
Okay, so what if, you've just given me an idea, like if it's not, now we're on to vampires and it's not like Ed Gein Simulator anymore, what if it's not one person? What if it's a family, like what we do in the Shadows? But, it's a family hotel, a family B&B or whatever. You get those, right?
Yeah.
And so, like if it was AI, but each of those vampires that you have different abilities or different, like they have different needs that you have to fulfill, which obviously all involve like taking the blood of other people in some way, I suppose. But there'll be different kinds of victims that you need to get for them. And then at night is when they feed.
I mean, you could just make it a monster hotel, couldn't you? Where it's like you've got Frankenstein's monster who needs, body parts, or you've got a vampire, you've got a werewolf.
Okay, I like that.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Shit, yeah.
So you have to try and direct the certain people, or like, so like I imagine with the construction, by the way, as like when there's guests in the hotel, it's like they walk in, they're in their room, so you're like, right, I can't construct anything while there's people in this room because they're sleeping in there or whatever. So you have to wait until like, everyone's out eating dinner or they're out on their day out or whatever. So now's my time to start putting in some really weird shit in this room. I'm going to make the button so the bed flips upside down and puts them into the basement, or like, I don't know, saw blades come out and start cutting up the people so you can have body parts for Frankenstein.
I fucking love the idea of this, like having an NPC walk in, just be like, this is your room, sir. And there's just like a fucking pentagram on the bed with candles around it. And they're like, are you sure this is my, okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a themed hotel. It's fine, right?
It's a monster thing. Yeah. That actually sounds fantastic. I think maybe you might have cracked it. Just the idea of it's multiple monsters, lots of different monsters.
So we got vampire who wants to drain the blood. We've got Frankenstein who wants body parts to improve himself or make a bride. We've got
bride. Okay.
We've got Satan who wants to try and steal their souls.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Satan.
So you have to try and hide like a pentagram behind a wall so he can summon in during the night and steal their souls.
Yeah.
You've got
what are the kind of like Halloween witches? Or there's a witch. A little witch.
You got a witch, yeah. So you have to try and build a cauldron that they fall into so they can cook up the children. Or something like that. There's loads of different things. And you've also just got Cthulhu, who if he's a staff member in your hotel, then he just wants to take over the entire world and turn everyone into weird tentacle puppet masters.
And then you've got
cleaning rooms.
And then obviously you've got Elmo who wants to wear the skin of his victims.
Yeah. And the Count who wants to bleed Big Bird dry.
And he wants to count how many bodies.
The Count just wants to count.
How many victims are there? 1. 2.
The alarm is so much more sinister.
Oh God, how haunting would it be if he just kept counting? Oh my God.
See?
3 hours later, 61. How many did he kill? Oh my God.
Fuck. Okay, all right. So I think we've got the theme of it sorted out now. This sounds pretty solid. What about things like traps and stuff? How is that going to work? What kind of things can you have that are like vampire specific, Frankenstein specific, or does it matter? Is it like what you do with them afterwards? Are they like, do you have just a trap that is capture this person and then they go down into the processing room or something where different machines do different things to them?
Yeah, the basement is Factorio. When they fall onto a conveyor belt, you have to build an entire system that spreads out the body parts evenly for everyone to enjoy.
This is a bit of a weird question.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. Do traps trap or do they also maim?
Well, I think they need
some
to
traps go, oh, this will chop their head off. Therefore, I have a head and I have a body. Or this trap,
I can
stops them
see
from running.
I can see it being more efficient to have just like a trap in a room, something that basically knocks the person out or kills them or whatever, and then takes them to a room for you to then do whatever with. But I think it would be more fun.
Process them in another room.
In the processing, I
was imagining that the rooms themselves kind of reset between every guest, and that you have to place the particular traps that are required by the certain staff, say vampire or Frankenstein or whatever.
I agree. I think that would be more fun.
But you can only do it when they're not in the room. So that's when you have to kind of say, like, right, I have to put a pentagram somewhere so that Satan can come out and steal their soul, or something like that. But then it's just a question of how much of this game is literally just, oh, Frankenstein wants this one, we'll put the blades in. Oh, vampire wants this one, we'll put the blood tank in there.
Could have immunities.
Got a solution for that, James?
Well, no, I was just thinking, I felt that these traps were more permanent. So, you would build a room with the pentagram built into the floor, for example. But then that means that you've got to manage what you're placing at any one time. So you go, actually, we don't need the pentagram now. We need to clear that room quickly and reset to appease this other monster's trait. So it's more of a, you got to manage what you've already placed. If that,
so you place stuff down and then have to move it or remove it based on.
You have to remove it. So there's two things. There's the cleanup after the trap or the maiming, whatever, and then there's I've now got to decide what I'm going to put here, and then maybe it's locked in until it gets used, or you have to then demolish it and then rebuild it. It takes time.
How does Theme Hospital, and I haven't played 2 Point Hospital, how do they actually play? Is it literally like you just place the cure room and then that's solved for the rest of the game? Like, what threats happen in 2 Point Hospital?
There are things you have to research. So say like there's people that come in who think they're Elvis, and you have to, that is a genuine thing that happens, by the way.
Right, okay.
And you have to have a certain machine or have a certain thing that you might have to research it. So there's a research room, or you have to put funding into research to then find a cure for that. Or some cures can be found and then they become available to you anyway. But then also you get things where you can get random events where you get an influx of, hey, we've got 50 people who have their heads deflated. So can you take all these patients? So then all of a sudden you have 50 people turn up, and you've only got one room that can do it. So then you have to quickly build more rooms to accommodate that. But also you need to then hire a doctor for each of those rooms. So there are different like scenarios that you can do. You can also choose to decline these things.
So this is almost kind of like in reverse of that, because I guess in this game,
that's what I was thinking.
The patients are the monsters, right?
If you have, say, 6 staff members of 6 different types, and you build 6 rooms that appease their deadly sins, then then what's stopping the game from just carrying on? Like, oh, we put this one in this room, vampire's happy. We put this one in this room, devil's happy. Like, what events can come up to make it more interesting? I guess vampire hunter could come up, or a monster slayer. Yeah, researching things could be a thing. Like
different characters can have immunities to different things. So you're like, okay, I need to research a different way of incapacitating them because my original method isn't working.
Sorry.
You could have
different events, like the full moon or something makes the bloodlust much more. You need so much more blood all of a sudden.
So then you need to say, right, Frankenstein, you're going to have to wait a couple more days. Because we need to build another vampire room, or
we need to build cages for the werewolves, because if we have werewolves in and there's a full moon, we have to lock them in. Otherwise, they're going to get out and just fuck everything up.
Maybe a couple of your staff are werewolves, and then they're out of rotation. You can't use them for an extended period because of the full moon. You have to lock them up downstairs, and you're like, right, I've only got 4 staff now, and I need to clear these rooms quicker. So it's definitely going to be a
have the night shift. So during the day, you need different staff.
Is that yes? Okay, so does that work in terms of like just rather than having regular staff, you are using monster staff, but there are certain monsters that will perhaps, like if you're a vampire or a werewolf, you can get away with just being a normal staff member and walk around the hotel because you look human. But if you're Frankenstein's bride or a witch, you can't do that or I don't know, the Blob. Or Satan.
Yeah.
The Blob is the chef.
So you have to somehow contribute some other way, or be useful. Or like, are these guys useful to them, or are they literally just like money sinks? So is it just that they live in your mansion and you can't do anything about it? You just have to save them.
Every monster should have some sort of ability that makes them useful as hotel staff, but also they have their weird, like let's say Satan, for example. I imagine he'd be an amazing hotel staff member because he just cloaks as a human, is like, you go to room number 666. That's and he can just hypnotize him and say, "Yep, make a deal.
Cthulhu
you're paying with your soul today. Wonderful." And it's just like, bam, okay, cool. Satan's sorted. He's done. However, he wants loads of souls.
I see. Okay,
like his requirements are so much higher because he's such a good hotel guy. Like he can operate at any time. He can do pretty much anything. He can disguise among the humans.
He doesn't need to sleep.
He's perfect. Whereas the amorphous blob, who can't be seen around humans, can't operate in the day or the night, has to hide in the walls to take its victims. Terrible, terrible staff member. Low requirements. I'm imagining this kind of like RimWorld in a way, in a very particular aspect of the game in which you can change the characteristics of your people when you jump in, but there are people who play the game that's like, oh, I'm going to do a cannibal only run and see how I can deal with the game when all my people that have crash landed on the planet are cannibals, or all of them are selfish, or whatever. I feel like the game is kind of like, oh, easy mode? Yeah, all of your staff members are Satan. Easy.
Right.
It's not a hard game. And then there's people that are like, I'm going to have every staff member be a blob. Or maybe it's random. Get away with it? Like you load into a game and it's like, oh, cool, I've got Frankenstein, I've got vampire, I've got succubus.
This is
going to be a weird run, but we'll see.
What if it worked like going back to Dungeon? I can't think it was Chris who mentioned Dungeon Keeper, but you know how in Dungeon Keeper you, by having certain rooms, you attract certain inhabitants, and again, like Viva Pinata. By having certain animals or having certain things, you attract certain pinatas. Like, what if by having certain creatures, you attract other creatures? Like, or if maybe like they're more likely to fight. Like, you can't have certain kinds. You can't have amorphous blob and werewolf in the same like in proximity or in the same hotel, or they don't get on. Or like there are certain things like that attract, like if you put a certain room down, it's going to attract a werewolf. If you put a cage in, then the werewolves know that they need to go in the cage at full moon. Otherwise they'll kill loads of people, and they don't want to do that. So
I feel like
they're going to come
fighting
live at your
is
hotel.
good. You know, vampires and werewolves typically fight, don't they? Like in the old pop cultures, but maybe you have no choice. That's all they can do is exist in the same hotel. So it's more like if you don't satisfy one of them, they get a bit grouchy and are more inclined to fight, and then you've got to separate them maybe in different shifts, or put the vampire on maybe a day shift because it's the only time that they can avoid the werewolf, and then they can't go outside.
Gonna hate that.
Like all kind of cloaked and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one. I don't know about. I feel like maybe you want. It's less about the monsters. You've got the monsters you've got, right? You're not attracting other monsters. You're trying to attract people. You want more people, right?
But then how does the game kind of progress in that way? Like, what do you like if you start the game and you're like, okay, I've got Satan, I've got a vampire, I've got a werewolf, and I've got Blob. You play the game for 20 hours, you've still got those guys.
That's what I mean. I think that's why I was asking about Theme Hospital, 2 Point Hospital, is because like if in those games you build the cure room, does the game just carry on? Like, but if there is like different stuff that actually happens, different events, I guess, summoning, or not summoning, but having more monsters as staff to then shake up the next part of the game. Like,
yeah, I guess that's the only way you can do it.
The hotel is operating perfectly. All of a sudden, you have a werewolf, and you're like, "Fuck, okay. I now have to manage this thing. I now have to change this room. I now have to make sure things are going properly for these people in this setup now." And then
it's
later
the hiring
on,
process, isn't it? As you say, it's the hiring process. You can choose to hire another vampire, a werewolf, or Frankenstein's monster. It's like maybe you get dealt them as a sort of, these are the options this month. Who do you
I
want
love
to
that you
hire?
have multiple Frankensteins.
what if I change the theme rapidly once more, and you're building
Oh my God.
A torture level in hell, and you are playing as Satan, and it's theme hospital, except you have to deal out a certain amount of tortures to a load of different people as they fall into your depths of hell. So you build the whipping room,
Dungeon Keeper-y?
the spike up the butt room, the
spike up the butt and
cockroaches in
whipping
your
room.
eyes room.
So it's like the Good
I've got it.
Place.
I've got it.
It's kind of the good place.
We'll change
Yes.
it again. We're going to do a thalassophobia rip, and you go into a hotel, and you're just hotel inspectors, and then you're like, "This looks a bit suspicious. This looks a bit suspicious." Then you find that you're locked in, and then it's like, what's that game? Like, what's the game? Horror game Outlast, and you've got to get out of the hotel before the vampire
I
gets
see.
you.
So you're just like a hotel critic.
You're a hotel
You're a
critic.
TripAdvisor
You're black
critic.
lighting. You're like scanning around, looking,
Sure.
reviewing, and then you're like, that picture frame's got its eyes missing, and then you pull it open, and then there's like a trap, and you're like, oh my God, we're stuck in the hotel. Quick, let's get out.
Now, how
So
about if you took the horror element out of that, and you're just a hotel inspector, and the entire game, you just at the end you give the hotel a rating, and you move on to the next one.
I mean,
It's like
no
Viscera
traps.
cleanup detail. There's
It's
no
like
traps.
Viscera or
nothing.
House Flipper.
Yeah,
I was going to say
just,
House Flipper. People would play that.
It's just, but it also turns out you're Ted Bundy. Yeah.
Also, it's an online game, and when you go into the kitchen, there's someone there playing Cooking Simulator, and he cooks you a meal, and you're like, not a great meal. You go to the room to sleep for the night. Someone's just played House Flipper to decorate the room for you. Pretty good work. Pretty good work. And it's a mixture of
give it a rating.
7 different
Are we
games.
just mixing those games together?
We're mixing those
bring them
games
all
together,
together.
but you play as a person who is just experiencing the results of everyone else's hard work.
Look, okay, Tom, bed and neck first. I really want the isometric because I think bed and neck
and
first works so well
first.
as neck firsts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even neck
Doesn't make
first.
sense.
Okay, sure.
That doesn't
No,
make sense.
because you want because it. I don't know.
Neckfast,
Right.
that makes sense because that's a good play on words.
Before completely U-turning and
Blood and
changing
neck
it,
first.
can you give us a rundown of what bed and neck first currently was about 2 minutes ago?
About 2 minutes ago, bed and neck first.
Let's stick with the play on words.
Okay, bed and neck first is a kind of anti-theme hospital in a way, where you are not curing people. You are trying to appease your vampire, werewolf, monstery staff in a hotel, Transylvania. That is trying to, I guess, harvest humans to be victims for your staff. So the vampire wants blood. The werewolf wants to tear shit up. Frankenstein wants to create a new wife. Satan wants to steal some souls. The succubus wants to get all up in that business.
It's the succubus.
And you're trying to appease your staff in particular ways. And if you don't, the staff are unhappy, which means they might go on a blood frenzy and just kill everyone. And that's the game over.
Yeah.
But if you
Whilst
manage to
maintaining
keep
the
a perfect
hotel, right?
balance, then great. You've got a hotel that's running and everyone is happy, except the people that are visiting because they're all going to fucking die.
Because they're all dying. Yeah.
But random events will come up, like, oh, vampire hunters are here, so the vampire has to go into hiding. Or maybe the garlic, they've spread garlic all over the place, so the vampire is feeling useless for a long time. Or, oh, there's a big rage of werewolves. People are dying.
Is that the collective noun for werewolves? I think we've managed to keep that. What I really liked about what we were initially talking about with like the murder hotel stuff was that balance between you're having to you're having to manage a normal hotel and keep it running with all the usual costs, but then you've also got all this other weird shit that you have to deal with. And I think that being there is a really cool mechanic that I would want to play. I don't know, James.
The only thing that's not clear to me is what's the end game. So there's what's the fail state? Can you fail in that you get reported, or the police come and it's just game over, or is it like you just start from a point?
I think like Theme Hospital, there could be scenarios where you've literally just got one Frankenstein staff member, and his requirement for this level of the campaign is, I want to build my Frankenstein wife. So you're like, cool, I need to get this many people into Frankenstein's little capture cage so he can harvest them, tear body parts off. And then the end game for that level is, congrats, he built a Frankenstein wife. Maybe there's another campaign level that is like, oh, the vampires want to build an army. So that you have to build the conversion chamber where they either hypnotize people or turn them into vampires.
Right, yeah.
And when you get to 50, 60 people, then that's when that campaign level ends. And I feel like that kind of work, because again, Theme Hospital, 2 Point Hospital is like, yeah, just build a hospital that can cure these diseases efficiently, and then the campaign level ends, right? So maybe it could be that.
I like it. So, okay. Chris, would make or would play? What do you think?
I don't think I get the idea, Alex.
He hasn't had a lot of sleep recently.
I mean, I'm sad that the serial killers have gone.
I think it is a bit more fun this way. I think Tom's right.
It's 100% more fun and 100% less likely to get you in trouble.
Yeah. Alex, you fucking freak.
Oh, look, here comes the Unabomber to clean your room. It's a bit more troublesome than, is a werewolf.
Nice. Bro, did you unlock Ted Bundy?
Did you get Ted Bundy? You've got Jeffrey Dahmer in the kitchen? Nice.
Nice move, bro.
And, I'm upset that Sesame Street declined to work with us on this. I think
it's a shame.
They just didn't know. They didn't know what they were missing.
They didn't, and I think that when we become millionaires because of this, they'll want to cash in with maybe some DLC or a skin pack. Maybe not a skin pack, because I feel like that might be an item in the game. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good. 2 Point Hospital is always a good thing.
Yeah. What about you, James? What do you think?
I love it. Yeah, it's great. I'm a bit sad about the loss of the first person aspect. That's a very different game, admittedly. I really like the route that we've gone down, and the isometric and the management side of it and the AI side, all really good. I feel like there's a separate game which would also be good, where you are the hotel manager, first person, looking
the
through
thalassophobia
peepholes and managing the hotel in that sense. But this game, I love it. I'd love to make that. That would be great fun.
I really like where we've taken it, and I am actually pretty excited about it. I don't know. I just think like the idea of just thinking about all these different monsters that could be there could be super fun. Like having Frankenstein's monster, or the werewolves, the vampires, like amorphous blobs.
You could come up with your own as well. Like it doesn't have to be monsters that everyone's familiar with. It could be something completely left field and be like, here are the traits for the whatever. Yeah, Spider-Man.
All right, Tom, what about you?
I think I just like it thematically. I think I've got 2 Point Hospital, and every time I think about playing it, I am a little bit turned off. I know everyone says it's an incredible game and it's really, really fun. However, I just don't like hospitals. And that's a big problem I'd have with it. Is I don't want to build a place that is curing people and running GPs, and there's an intercom that comes up every now and then like, oh, we have an infestation of moustaches around the hotel. Infestation of moustaches in the hotel. That really annoys me. I don't know why. It's very fucking clinical and clean, and I think I would prefer to play a management game of that style.
As if it's a hospital.
I know, but I don't like the clinical cleanliness. I almost want to play a theme hospital game in which it's a grungy hotel and you're killing people or whatever. works better in my mind and feels a lot more fun and interesting to play.
So it's 2 Point Transylvania. I think that sounds. I think that could be cool. Okay, all right. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. I think maybe it wasn't anything quite like the original idea that I had, but I think it's gone in a much better place. Yeah, that's true. It's pretty close. It's gone in a much better direction now. I just wish the count was in there, but like Chris said, Sesame Street aren't going to work with us on that.
How about the Muppets?
Probably because of all the murder stuff.
No, I think if we get our massive huge Twitter army that we have to just start spamming Sesame Street with hashtag Drain Big Bird.
Drain Big Bird.
Drain the bird.
Drain Big Bird dry.
He's got so much neck as well, exactly.
It's an easy
one.
There's a lot of neck.
Oh my God, he get dizzy very quickly.
Bleed Big Bird dry.
You know what they say about Big Bird? He's all
hashtag bleed Big Bird dry. Please tweet that to the official Sesame Street Twitter account.
At the count.
Hopefully next time we're on, we'll have some kind of response for them, or the podcast will have been shut down.
This is the turning point of the podcast where we try to get a partnership with Sesame Street, where we spend episodes and episodes and episodes updating everyone on our deal with Sesame Street. So keep spamming them with Drain Big Bird dry.
Where can they spam
racing
us?
game? Yeah, it would be great with Sesame Street characters. Let's do that.
It'd be great with Oscar. Where can they spam us, Tom?
They can spam us at Pitch Pod. Pitch, please without the vowels. Pod with the vowel, the O. By the way, I'm talking about the O. I'm always talking about the O.
That's the one. I've been pretty impressed with the amount of people that have been actually listening to our podcast recently. I know that's a weird thing to say because we record it and put it out.
The Spotify 2020 listings came out, and we actually had a lot of people saying they listened to Pitch Please the most. So thank you everyone for listening to marathons of Pitch Please episodes. That's incredible.
There was someone who did 13 episodes in a day. That's insane. I can't remember the name. I don't understand why they did it, but thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much for listening.
I'm so sorry.
Hotel, what was it? Bed and Neckfast.
Yeah, let us know if you would play Bed and Neckfast, or if you have any changes you would like to see. Maybe you have some cool ideas for the first person aspect, the different game of
James's game.
Bed and Neckfast.
Necophobia.
Yeah,
right.
That's nice.
Thank you very much. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.